Is that a shirt you're wearing, or was it full of red Indians when you found it?
It was my husband's.
Good Lord. What was he, a Harlem Globetrotter?
I'm wearing a shirt that's a bit too big for me. Do we really have to have all this Morecambe and Wise stuff?
Sorry.
How are you?
A bit hungover.
I gathered that. I spent the morning listening to you being sick. Every hour on the hour.
Sorry.
Oh, I can cope with that. It's that pitiful little whimper you do afterwards I find less than captivating.
I don't know why I'm so ill, but I was only mellow last night.
Mellow bordering on paralytic.
Really?
Yes.
Yes, well, I suppose we did drink a lot last night.
You did, yes. And then between midnight and 2, you ran through the whole gamut of your emotions. Silly, melancholic, aggressive, and then incredibly randy just before passing out.
Yes, well, you know, as long as we had a good time.
You did, yes.
Ah.
Coffee?
Please.
Afraid there's no milk.
Black be fine. Look, I'm sorry about last night.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, everyone gets legless from time to time, and I'm hardly the first man to be sexually selfish under the influence. I mean, it won't happen again. Well, not for a bit. Please don't sulk.
I'm not sulking. Well, why shouldn't I sulk?
No reason at all.
Boring, drunken, chauvinist lout.
You've been talking to my wife.
Wish you had the right idea.
Aha!
What?
It's something of a landmark. That's the first time you've used that one. My wife left me for another man. Why did your husband take off?
Same reason. Another man.
Lord.
Oh, he's happy now. At weekends they put on motorcycle gear and go for walks on Hampstead Heath. You've shaved.
Yes, I always feel better when I shave.
You've got a spot.
Yeah, I know. I've got a bad skin. Doctors always said I'd grow out of it. I'm 35. I'm still waiting. Spots, they ruined my adolescence.
I know the feeling. With me, it was chest trouble.
Oh, what was wrong with your chest?
I didn't have one.
All my life, I've waited for that gap between spots going and baldness coming, you know? I reckon I'll have them both in about 6 months.
Philip.
Ah.
What?
In my experience, when there are only 2 people present and Christian names emerge, things are about to get murky. You sure there's no milk?
If you really want some, there's a supermarket on the corner. Conveniently placed and inconveniently priced. If you're lucky, you can sometimes find a carton with a date stamp which doesn't urge you to drink it before leaving the shop.
It's nice round here, isn't it? Nice area.
It's all right. Better class of mugger. Please, may we have your handbag?
What were you going to say?
Did your wife really leave you for another man, or...
Or did she just leave me? It was a bit of each, really. Things had started to get a bit rocky.
In what way?
Well, we'd taken to habitually telling each other the truth, you know. It was always a bad sign.
And why didn't you have kids?
I was always frightened Ellen would eat them. No, at least we both had the nous to realise we'd have been dreadful parents. Where's all this leading?
It's about your outlook. Your obsessive melancholia.
How do you mean?
Last night, we had a little party for my friends.
Yes.
They'd all come for a good time, to enjoy themselves.
Yes.
And they really didn't want to stand around all the evening chatting about terminal illness, the inadequacy of famine relief, and Chilean torture methods.
No.
I mean, it was an engagement party. How many of those are there these days? Mandy's my best friend, and she's pregnant. You're a sort of social hair shirt, Philip. Well, are you always going to be like this? Because it bothers me. I mean, I don't know if you and I are going anywhere, but this worries me. I am talking about what I'm talking about. This has nothing to do with sex.
Even I don't link chronic melancholia with sex.
Men are paranoid about sex. Mandy says whenever you have a row, always make it quite clear it has nothing to do with sex. Unless, of course, it has. Otherwise, we're just laying up trouble for the future. I mean, compassion's a wonderful thing, but you don't do anything. Telling everyone how dreadful life is isn't enough.
Well,
£6 a month to action in distress doesn't count. Being a postal parent doesn't make you the saviour of mankind, you know. Well, I can't take all this misery. I really can't. You're about as much fun as a wet nappy.
I see. Okay. I've got to go.
I'm not saying you've got to go.
No, I am. I'm going to be sick. I washed my hair yesterday. 36 came out.
How do you know?
I collected them very carefully. 36. I wash my hair every 2 days.
Every 2 days.
You know, I got greasy hair. That's 18 a day. Well, it's probably more like 25. I bet a few slink off when I'm not looking. That's more than 9,000 a year. God, I'll be like Duncan Goodhue by Christmas.
You could wear a toupee.
9,125 equals...
There's no point pretending to work, Ruth. The old man's not in today.
Ruth doesn't do any work when the old man is in.
No, that's true.
He's doing an important calculation now.
Really? Ah. What's that?
He's working out the exact day he'll go bald.
About next Thursday, I should think. I have here a claims form, Ruth, on which you've written C contract.
Yes.
And here I have the contract on which you've written C claims form.
Uh-huh.
Now, I know you never do any work, but stopping others working is a new departure. It's taken me half the morning to marry them up.
Sorry about that. Can I do anything for you?
Not really, no. I just wandered in. It's nearly coffee break. I thought I'd wake you.
Yes. For someone with such a professed detestation of me, you do spend rather a lot of time in here, don't you?
Well, I will admit, Ruth, I find you rather like that pimple you're scratching. Unattractive and irritating, but impossible to leave alone.
He has spent the entire weekend thinking that one up.
You did go through a period of doing a bit of work recently. Didn't last long, did it?
Well, I've been a bit knocked off my perch lately. I think I'm in love.
Really?
Yes. And I'm very worried about it. Last time it happened, I married my ex-wife. I'm going to talk to my analyst about it later on today.
Why do you still go on going to see him? You told me he was no good.
Oh, I can't stop seeing him now. He's going through a bad patch. If I left him, he'd go to pieces. I don't know why I keep coming to see you anymore.
Oh, dear.
What?
Well, couldn't you start off a little more gently? Instead of diving straight into the deep end, couldn't you paddle a little? Easy stuff like traffic was hell, finding a place to park was difficult, what's a GLC going to do about it? The sort of stuff that depresses us all.
Right. Found a parking space straight off, actually. Yes, I even had time for coffee.
That Italian place.
Mm.
Good coffee there, isn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful.
The machine was on the blink when I was there. I'm parked about half a mile away. I had to catch a cab to get here in time for my first patient, and she was a nervous wreck, but she was on a double yellow line. It all affects us much more than we think.
Yes. How are things with you?
I've been having a hell of a time. Spent nearly all Friday in court.
Court?
Yes. This girl I'm seeing about kleptomania.
What girl?
Her name's Alison, or Gail, something like that. She steals things, compulsively, and all the time. Every time she came here, she used to steal all my scotch. I have a hospitality shelf. Would you care for a drink?
No. Just now.
Bit embarrassing, actually, because I was treating her for alcoholism for the first 3 visits before I twigged.
Yes.
Dreadful time in court. The magistrate was the clearest case of paranoid schizophrenia I've seen outside the House of Commons. The clerk of the court had a power complex that would have made my mother look like a galley slave.
Your mother?
Please don't talk to me about my mother.
No.
My God, I could tell you things.
Please don't. No, I was quite happy in court with Alison.
Maisie. That's her name. Maisie. Yes, I'm not too good with names. Yes, anyway, I'm called as an expert witness to say that this girl is suffering from the disease, you know.
Yes?
Well, I felt a perfect bloody fool, because she's making an absolute mint at it.
Really?
Well, it's an absolute mint. Oh, she is ill, but she shows no desire for a cure. It's far too profitable. I don't know how Marks and Spencer survive her visits. She seems able to conceal whole departments about her person undetected. They only got her for a jar of St. Michael's Old English marmalade. Puts me in a sticky position, you see. I know for a fact that she's got the complete range of autumn separates up under her bed. Good heavens, yes. I can't say anything. The professional confidence and so on.
Yeah.
Bit awkward. How was your weekend?
Well, it was very relaxing, anyway.
God, I wish mine had been. That's what weekends are for, God knows. Unless you're decorating.
Decorating?
Gerald is so fussy.
And Gerald's the chap you live with?
Yes, yes. I mean, I don't mind slapping on a bit of emulsion now and then, but oh, no. William Morris paper, peach blossom ceiling, white cornice, and please could we pick out the acanthus leaves and silk finish Sahara sunrise. I tell you, my weekend would have given Michelangelo an anxiety attack. I mean, I am a psychoanalyst. If I'd wanted to be an interior decorator, I'd have done it years ago. God knows it's a simple enough life. Cash in hand, not a word to the taxman. Bloody taxman.
Are you having tax problems?
I've got to discuss my expenses with them on Wednesday. Oh, God, I'm so harassed.
Well,
No, it's all right. These things are sent to try us. Look, what's on your mind? What do you want to talk about?
well,
Do you smoke at all?
no, I gave up.
Did you? Yes. You haven't got any cigarettes then?
No.
No. I've given up as well.
Aha.
Yes. I just fancied one, you know. The odd one. My receptionist hides them from me. I ask her. She treats me like a child. There's probably 10 packets of silk cut in this room at this very moment. It's absurd.
I wonder, could we talk about my problem just for a bit?
What? Oh, good God, I'm sorry.
No.
There you are, you see. Things get on top of you, your work suffers. Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, your problem.
Well, I'm a bit concerned about a relationship that I've entered into.
A sexual one.
Yes.
Yes, they cause problems.
Yes, indeed. And I'm frightened of a familiar pattern repeating itself. You see, what usually happens is I'm very keen at first, and they seem indifferent-ish, you know, and then just about the time I'm thinking about ways of breaking it up, they fall in love with me.
Fall in love with you?
Yes.
Good Lord.
Yes, I realize it must sound pretty unlikely.
No, I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean... No. Look, this chap you're having the affair with, how does he feel?
It's a woman, actually.
It's a woman? Yes. You find her attractive?
Yes, very much so. Yes, she's very bright, very good company. You know, she knows who de Gaulle was.
Is it important she knows who de Gaulle was?
No, I just mean to say she's my age. You know, I mean she's been through it all. You know, hula hoops, CND, jukebox jury.
Stirring times.
Yeah. You see, I very much don't want to hurt her, but I mean, this could be the real thing.
Yes. You've always had trouble in the emotional area.
Yes.
Can you remember the first time you fell in love, so to speak?
Yeah. And that wasn't complicated. And she certainly knew who de Gaulle was.
Who was this?
Brigitte Bardot. I was too young to see her sexy films, you see, so I had to make do with Babette Goes to War. I saw it 8 times.
Yes, I recognise that. Yes, I saw Suddenly last summer 6 times.
Oh, it's Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, Montgomery Clift, actually.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Love is definitely a problematic area. Hate is much easier to define. That's one thing my mother did teach me. I was reading something about this the other day. Just a sec. Aha! Eureka.
What?
I found a cigarette. Do you want one?
This room's a bit of a jumble, isn't it? That chair doesn't really go, does it?
Well, we divided all the furniture up.
Of course, we were the same. I've got 7 boxed sets of operas. They all stop at the end of Act 1 and have half a libretto.
You're kidding.
No, it was a fit of pique. He'd come round to divide stuff up. Grisly business, that is, anyway. And I must have said something. Well, I did say something. I called him a boorish bisexual Burke.
Did he leave you for this chap?
Well, for some time we'd had a compatibility problem.
In what way?
We hated each other. God, this wine's dreadful.
Yes, perhaps we should have let it breathe.
Breathe? It'd need an oxygen tent. I wouldn't shake this over a bag of chips. I'm going back to my place tonight.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything or anything.
No.
I just want to be in my flat, on my own, you know.
Yes.
Well, perhaps it does mean something.
Ah.
Well, you have been doing it again.
What do you mean?
Finding the black side to everything. Every time we have a meal, we have to consider the hungry of the world, how the animal we're eating was killed, and whether the farmer's life experience is rich enough. You're potty about music. Every time we hear Beethoven, you break down crying about him going deaf. It's everything. You could find the black side to winning the pools. I mean, I do like you, but I do find you very depressing. I don't mean that unkindly.
No.
I'm just being honest.
Yes, no, but I'm glad of that.
Well, you do know you've got a problem. You see a psychiatrist about it.
An analyst, yes.
Is that helping?
Well, it's helping him, I think.
What?
But he gets very upset, you know.
Your analyst?
Yes.
Oh, good God. You see, that's what worries me. Everyone you come into contact with seems to develop terminal depression.
But it's not so unreasonable, is it? I mean, all of his life is spent listening to unhappy people moaning. All the time. And his private life's in a bit of a state, I think.
In what way?
Well, I think his boyfriend treats him badly, you know. I mean, never mind he's an analyst. I mean, he's a human being who needs sympathy, same as anyone else. He's lonely in a way, I think.
Oh. How old is he?
About my age.
Oh, this is ludicrous. Now I'm depressed about your shrink. It never ends. In all fairness, Philip, I must say I'm worried about us.
Ah.
Well, it's true I was very upset by all the divorce business myself. It may be largely me. I don't think seeing Kramer versus Kramer tonight helped.
Hello, Baldy. How are you? Get an anxiety attack watching people working out in the open plan, did you?
You know, the extraordinary thing about you, Napley, is that I expect so little from you, and yet you still manage to disappoint. You're the only man I know who makes John McEnroe look gracious. Please don't let me keep you.
I wouldn't dream of it. I've got work to do.
You're in a happy mood today. Your love life going wrong, is it?
That's a very sore point just now.
Sorry.
How come I'm so transparent? The only person I know who can't read me like a book is my analyst.
Philip.
Lillian.
Christian names.
Ah. Come in. Very good of you to see me at such short notice.
No. I'm very pleased to see you. I've been having a very difficult time. Up till very late decorating. Oh, God.
Still decorating?
Gerald decided he didn't like the William Morris. Well, of course he didn't. It was perfectly ghastly. We had a sitting room like a pre-Raphaelite rainforest. Covering dark green vinyl paper with matte finish Arctic dawn is no joke. 5 coats, can you imagine 5? I'm in a nervous state, I'll admit it. I've got to see a psychotic maths teacher after you. I dread seeing him, I dread it. He's quite extraordinary. I tell you, some of my patients are raving bloody lunatics. No other word for it.
Yes, I think I saw him in the waiting room, actually. He did look very disturbed. It made me feel quite uneasy.
In the waiting room?
Yes, in a blue shirt and army trousers.
That's Gerald, actually.
God, I'm sorry.
No need to be. He is disturbed. We're going to the theatre this evening. Brecht. God, I hate Brecht. European parables. No, he's simple-minded.
Gerald.
Brecht. Now, what's the problem?
Well, it's about that girl I was telling you about.
Girl?
Yes, you know.
Don't tell me. Yes. Hula hoops. De Gaulle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, she's told me that she doesn't want to go on seeing me anymore.
Why's that?
Well, she says that I keep going on about how bleak life is.
Well, it is bleak.
Well, I know.
Good God, I mean, what are you supposed to say? Everything's hunky-dory? Well, it certainly isn't. Life is not what it seems in the cornflakes commercials, you know.
I know.
Bleak's not the word. I've got to see the tax commissioners on Wednesday. I don't know. I can't keep receipts for everything.
No.
Well, I mean, looking on the bright side, I always say this to my clients, look on the bright side. Looking on the bright side, your relationship with this girl is now resolved, isn't it?
Well, yes.
Yes. Well, there you are. I mean, that is something. God, I mean, I'm worried, I'll admit it.
About the tax commission?
No. I've got to go to court on the 15th with Alison.
Maisie?
Yes. I'm in a bit of a spot.
You're an expert witness?
No. They found the autumn separates. Now I'm charged with being an accessory.